Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day and stuff like that. So today in this video, honestly, I really just pressed record. Clue what I'm even about to say besides my observation over the past few years, which is change never ends. Change never stops. You could conceptualize in your mind a state that, you've accomplished everything and now you're able to just be comfortable in your own skin, which, that actually doesn't really exist. There are ways to get to that sort of mode of being, but in general, it actually just doesn't exist, man, because everything in life is a pendulum. Everything in life has an equal and opposite reaction, meaning that when you progress in a certain area of life, it opens the floodgates to new expansion and new idealization of different things and different topics. And then you try to reach those and you try to accomplish those. And you think in the time that you're doing it that it's going to be fully fulfilling, but then you realize that it just opens the floodgates for an infinite number of iterations of cascading domino-like effect consequences of possible futures and possible decisions and possible outcomes. And what I've learned is that the best way to overcome this internal problem or internal quandary, which is I don't want the uncomfortability of change. I just want to be comfortable. Just person to person, it actually doesn't exist. You really can't get to a comfortable place. The only thing you could get is true peace, which I'll talk about later on in this video on what has helped me and what has helped millions and millions of other people get to that certain level of peace. But genuinely, your relationship with change and your relationship with pain has to be of high resilience, has to be of high caliber, because truly it doesn't stop. Like, I'm serious, man. The pain never stops. The change never stops. Like, I'm not saying that life itself is, innately painful, because it's innately everything, right? It's painful, beautiful, pleasurable, torturous. Like, it's everything. It's literally everything. A big problem in society, especially nowadays, is depression and anxiety. And it's a bummer and it's really sad. And my heart goes out for people that experience that. I've been I've been very depressed throughout different instances in my life and times of my life. Deep depression, deep suicidal thoughts, deep horrible existential quandary, and that actually never went away. The only thing that has changed is my relationship with an object permanence, something that is truly not of this world, something that truly is not of flesh and bones. It's outside of us. It's a level of acknowledgement that the universe and actuality of reality is not random. We're not here for a random cause, and that's what the new age agenda would like you to think, is that, we're just flesh and bones and nothing really matters and we're all gonna die anyway. We're just parasites killing the planet, which couldn't be further from the truth, because why does that matter? Why does that matter if we're parasites killing the planet? We're on the planet. Should we go somewhere else? Should we kill ourselves? Yes, we should. That's actually exactly what they're trying to get at. But anyway, regardless of any of that, the point of this video is my experience with depression and anxiety and internal quandary and, suicidal ideations and all that stuff is you need to put your trust and your faith in something that is outside of yourself. Now, I went through a divine intervention through psychedelics a few years ago. I was a heavy atheist, agnostic, secularist in a way, and I was hurting very deep down, hurting supremely. And I had an experience with psychedelics, not going to name the specific psychedelic. I had a trip in which brought me down to my knees, activated my whole nervous system through an epiphany that I had, which every single molecule, every single atom is not random. Every single atom and molecule and structure in the universe, in reality, actually has a level of consciousness. Now, I could prove this. If every molecular machine was completely just random circumstance just floating around, life actually wouldn't be able to compartmentalize and materialize itself and manifest itself. It simply just wouldn't be able to. Molecules have a certain level of consciousness. Now, what does this insinuate? What does this allude to? Well, it alludes to the phenomenon that is reality actually has certain levels of fundamental structure to it, fundamental principles to it, like symmetry, a pendulum, Newton's third law, you could research that, balance. Like, I listed off multiple things to help try to describe what I'm getting at, but they're really all the same thing. It's a level of balance. It's a level of beatification within reality. It's really hard to explain and convey, and I hope I'm doing a well job, but I've had this theory about reality and God for quite some time. And when I experienced these thoughts, it took me a very long time to realize that it was pretty much a godly intervention. It was a innately religious intervention in a lot of ways. And that happened about 2.5 years ago. And ever since then, my levels of anxiety and angst and depression have gone down, but it's still an ongoing process. You still need to trust completely in a certain level of object permanence, in a certain level of factuality outside of the world, outside of these fleshly vessels. And it's really difficult to get to that state, man. And it's an ongoing fight within itself. But if you're willing to trust in that ongoing fight and carry the cross and carry the crucifix, it will get you to a higher playing field, in a higher state, in a higher level of peace within oneself. Now, with these videos, I honestly need to stop caring about what people think about, like religion and all that stuff. And I really don't care anymore, man. I just need to speak truly from the heart. And wherever that takes me is wherever that takes me. So if you, the viewer, are experiencing some sort of internal psychological angst, everybody does. Everybody has a relationship with all of that. Oneself needs to come closer to believing and having trust within the fact that you are here for a reason. Just atomically speaking, just evolutionarily speaking, you're here for a very real, factual, materialized reason. It's here. It's real. You're breathing. You're living. The evolutionary and molecular process to get to that point is impossible without a certain level of universal intelligence that every piece of matter and thing in the universe is forever soaking in. I could keep talking about, like, all this stuff and how society nowadays is relevant and relating to all of these things. But I think I will in the future, but I think it's besides the point. Some actionable steps you could take right now if you are having issues with, suicidal ideations. Just meditate. Meditate on what it means to truly be alive. Meditate on the mere impossibility of being alive. Meditate on how on earth are things real. Like, seriously, just take a step back. How are you alive right now? How are we alive? How is that happening? Like, it's not random. And I've had this, I now know this so deeply in myself as such a factual, like, fundamental walking stone that holds up the whole castle now so deeply in my being. You can't argue it out of me, because I went through my whole life arguing that point itself against myself. It's life is everything all at once, all the time. And the battle between change and pain is forever going. So you truly just need a level of trust within just being here, just being alive. Just the fact that things are things should be enough of a reason to keep pushing. And it is for me. And it truly helps me. And I still have depression. It comes in waves, obviously, but I still have suicidal ideation even. But the thing is I'm able to distance myself from that. I'm able to know that it's not random. There are reasonings that keep breathing and keep going, just as every molecule and every atom has had since time millennia. Keep orientating. Everything is soaked in a super consciousness of orientation and balance. The Big Bang was a relationship between time and space. It was almost a female and male inception. Everything is symmetry. Everything is balance. Everything is an innate desire of beautification. Stay hard, guys.